we talk about midpoint, okay, we're going to be talking about midpoint formula. Oh, what the heck. All right, so you don't have to really worry about this. You can close this, you don't need it. All right, coordinate plane, okay, is a plane that's divided into 4 regions. Okay, we have our horizontal line, which is our x-axis, and our vertical line, which is our y-axis. I said you don't need to write it. What was your question? Because I thought we talked about this. I'll if you for the people that are gone, they can watch it on YouTube. They can watch the lesson. Okay, so that's what we're talking about with our coordinate plane. Okay, so just know of an ordered pair, our first value is our x value, our second value is our y value. Okay, this is what you need to write down in your notes. This is our midpoint formula. So write this down. Okay, the midpoint. Okay, so it's going to be the middle of those 2 endpoints. Oh, I know. All right, our midpoint formula is x1 plus x2 over 2, comma, y1 plus y2 over 2. All right, don't worry about the graph, okay? Just know this equation. All right, so just write the equation down, okay? Because that's what we're going to be using today to solve. Okay, let's go ahead and look at an example. All right, so this is find the coordinates of midpoints PQ with the endpoints of -8, 3 and -2, 7. Okay, when we do this, all right, when we mark our, what's our x1, our x2, what's our y1, y2, stop talking, you guys. Okay, our P, this is going to be our 1. We'll just act like this is our 1. So this will be our x1. -8 will be our x1. 3 will be our y1. All right, then 2. What the heck? What? Someone else just connected. Is it out?
Oh, you guys want to play quizzes?
All right, happened before. Okay, so like I was saying, Q, our -2 is going to be our y, our x2, 7 is going to be our y2. All right, so who can kind of walk it through with our equation? How are we going to set this up? What would be our first part? We're going to put, yeah, it's going to be our x1 plus x2. All right, I don't want to talk over you guys, okay? We have our x1 plus our x2. So we have -8 plus -2 over 2. And then what's our 2y values? Yeah, we have 3 plus 7 over 2. Okay? So what's our -8 plus -2 going to be? -10 over 2. What's 3 plus 7? 10 over 2. All right? Then we got -10. Weston, you need to finish that and throw it away. All right, then we got -10 over 2. What's that? -5. And then what's 10 over 2? 5. Okay? So there's our answer, -5, 5. All right? We add our x values together and we add our y values together. Yeah, we add them. Okay? We always divide by 2. Who was saying that? Yeah. We always divide by 2. Okay? Not in the midpoint formula. I think you're thinking distance formula. Do this one on your own. All right, use the formula. Do it on your own. I'm going to come around and check. No.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. We'll go over it.
I don't know how you would divide any of these.
Then just leave your answer. If you get an answer as a fraction, leave it as a fraction. But 0 over 2 is not a fraction. It should just be 0.
So 0 over 2 is 0.
And if it's 0 over 2, just leave your answer as 0. Okay? You can leave your answer as a fraction. If you put it as a decimal, that's okay. Are you what?
Huh?
Are you good so far? Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Throw this away for me, Weston.
That's it.
Solve it from there. All right. This is what you should get.
Yes.
Okay? When you eventually see this in delta math, all right, you can put your answer as a fraction or as a decimal. I believe you can do both. When you put it in as a fraction, okay, you got to put like 3 divided by 2, and it'll show up as a fraction. Okay? You just got to make sure that fraction looks correct. All right? If you put 0, negative 3 in for your answer, it's going to be wrong. It's got to be 3 over 2 and then 0. Okay? Now, I don't like how it tells us that already. Now, let's say on the next one, it's going to show us what we're going to do, okay? This next one, all right? This one tells us M is the midpoint of XY. It tells us X has the coordinates of 2, 7, and M, meaning the midpoint, has the coordinates of 6, 1. So in this one, we are given the midpoint. We have to find one of the endpoints. Okay, so we have to solve for y. So it kind of already tells us what we're going to do right there. So we got to set the coordinates of y equal to xy. So we're still going to be using our equation of x1 plus x2 over 2, y1 plus y2 over 2. Okay, and that's what m equals. Well, this time our m, we have 6, 1. Okay? And then we're going to use our x as our x1 and y1. Okay? So we'll put in our value of 2. It'll be plus x over 2. And then it will be 7 plus y over 2. Okay? Now when we're solving for this, we got to remember our midpoint. Okay? These are values of x and y. All right? So in order to solve for x first, we're going to take our 6 and equal that to 2 plus x over 2. Okay? Now what do we have to do in order to get x by itself? What do we do to get x by itself? Right here. Multiply what? 2. By what? What are we multiplying by 2? Do what? Yeah, both sides. We're going to multiply both sides by 2. What's 6 times 2? Equals, what happens over here? These 2's cancel out, so whatever's on top stays. So we have 2 plus x. Then what do we do to get x by itself? Subtract 2, and what do we get for x? Okay? That's our first coordinate. Now let's do y. Okay, well, what are we going to put? What equals what? Yeah. 1 equals 7 plus y over 2. And why is it 1? Who can tell me? Yeah, why? Our y equals 1. Right here. All right, so then we solve from here. What do we have to do? What do we have to do here? Multiply both sides by 2. What does that give us on the left? Equals what? 7 plus y, because these 2's cancel out. Subtract 7, y equals negative 5. So what are our coordinates? 10, negative 5. Sorry, Quinn. We'll do another one. Okay? So that's what I did right here. All right, do we have questions about this one? No? Do the next one on your own. You might have to help Colton with this. On this one. So if you want to sit by him on this one real quick. Just on this certain problem. All right. You're finding the coordinates of t. So it tells you the first part on how to set it up. So use that to help you solve. Yeah.
So we would use negative 6 negative 1 outside.
No. The midpoint. S is the midpoint.
Oh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What is? Have you written anything?
Mm-mm.
We just did an example together. And that's how you set it up on the board. So write how you set it up and then solve from there. Go ahead and try this one. Set this one up. It's already set up for you. You just gotta solve for x and y from there. This is how you set it up. Use, and there's hand sanitizer.
Whatever, James.
Do you want a Clorox wipe? Corner. Okay. This is how you should have done the x. All right, so what do we get the value for x? What do we get? 4. Okay. What about y? What do we get? Perfect. Okay. Do we have questions before we do? We'll do another example problem. Do we have questions? All right. Do 1 and 4. Okay, do 1 and 4 together. So go ahead and do 1 and 4. If you need help, ask your partner who you're sitting with. Make sure you pay attention to what you're finding. So what do we do for the first one? We're given the coordinates. Yeah, put it into this formula. Perfect. Go ahead and do that. James, go ahead and put it away.
Am I doing it right?
Mm-hmm. Except, oh, that's a 4, right? Okay. I thought it was a 9.
Kind of sucks.
If that's bad, then mine's really bad. But I thought it was a 9. That's why I was like, I don't know how she got 9. No, you're fine though. You are completely fine. There you go. Perfect. Try the next one. Try number 4. That's where you're given the midpoint. Yeah. On 1 or 4.
So, because on one.
So what's your midpoint
Yeah,
formula?
you did this right, and then all you need to do right here is add that.
Okay, so all you're doing is plugging in those coordinates into the formula.
I'm so.
Where's your midpoint formula?
Wait, that's not. I'm doing like the number one thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know how to do it. Like, I tried to pay attention.
Well, you gotta, don't forget to put over 2 on both of those, then solve from there.
So I just add these together.
Yeah, what's negative 6 plus 0? Yeah, so put negative 6 over 2. Then what about the other side? Yeah, so negative 4 over 2. So then what?
Just divide them.
Yeah.
Oh, so you have 3. Wait, you put the over 2?
We're,
Right?
nope, because you divided. So negative 3 and there you go.
Oh, I got it now.
Yeah, those are easy. Try number 4. That's where you are given the midpoint. So that one, you got to do something a little different. You did number 4?
I divided and I got negative 3 and negative 2.
Okay, there you go. That's your answer. So put it into parentheses.
Just like right there.
Yeah. And yeah, you're just like comma in between. Just know.
And that's the answer?
Yeah, for number 1.
Okay, and then we go to.
Yep, do number 4. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm just going to write out the formula. Okay? I think most of you did number 1. Keep working on number 4 if you're working on that one. All right. Is this your next one? I don't know the answer at the top of my head, but it looks right. All right, let's look at number 4, okay? Now, number 4, we got to make sure we're using the same equation, okay? But this time we're just given the midpoint. So this time, our 5, negative 4 equals our equation, okay? Well, we're given our points of A, so let's make our 2 our x1. Let's make our negative 6 our y1. Okay? So let's go ahead and put this in. So we have our x1, which is 2, plus x over 2, comma. Then we have our y1, negative 6, plus y over 2. Okay? Do we understand that? Do we understand just putting it into the equation? Okay. We got to solve for our x and y then. Say, okay? Our midpoint. What number is our midpoint x? 5. Okay, so we're going to put 5 equals what? 2 plus x over 2. All right, what number is our y? Negative 4. So our negative 4 equals what? Okay, negative 6 plus y over 2. So let's go back to our x. How do we get rid of the 2 on the bottom? Multiply what by 2? We multiply both sides. Okay, so what's 2 times 5? Equals what happens on the right side? What happens here? Our 2's cancel out. So that leaves us with 2 plus x. Okay? We got to subtract our 2. And what do we get for x? 8. There we go. Now let's go to our y. What do we got to do to get rid of the 2 on the bottom? Multiply both sides by 2. What's our left number? Negative 8 equals what happens on the right side? The 2's cancel out. So that leaves us with negative 6 plus y. Now what? Add 6. And what do we get for y? Equals what? Okay, so what's our coordinates? 8, negative 2. All right? I'll ask you to do number 2 and 4, or sorry, 2 and 5. And when you think you got both answers, check with me, and then I'll let you start working on your homework. All right, when you think you got it, just raise your hand. Or if you need help, raise your hand. No, you gotta make sure you do your x's together and your y's together. And then these are the answers you should get for 2 and 5.